mile in fog patches and showers early Friday, but improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above me. Night breezes seem to whisper
This is so bad. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the first episode of Short Story Sundays. So the image featured in today's episode was sent in by Moen, and it was safe to say that I thought the image was very cursed to begin with, but it definitely sparked a lot of creative thinking. So shout out to Moen, for sending in today's image. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is by no means a polished piece because I kind of wrote it last minute since procrastination is a thing. I did write 2 drafts prior to the one that you're going to see in this video, but they were very cringy, and I tried to take out a lot of the cringe, and I don't know if I succeeded, so you can let me know down below in the comments. I'm also going to be posting the written version of the story in the comments in the description box if you want to follow along. And I'll probably be making some edits to the written version to make it less cringy based on your feedback. So without further ado, let's get on to the story. Behind the Purple Wall. Behind the Purple Wall. Jay was done before the day even started. Last night's dreams were still pounding in his head as he made his way down the cracked sidewalk towards his newest school. Jay glanced down at the paper in his hand and rolled his eyes at the words, "The Purple-Sized Sunshine Academy for Troubled Students." Wow, thanks Mom and Dad for sending your son to school for troubled students simply because you can't figure him out. I could really feel your love here. Jay was wrenched from his thoughts as he started to hear the chatter of other students up ahead. Well, fuck, Jay muttered to himself. His eyes scanned over the drab campus and the crowd of troubled students hanging out in the lawn outside the school. Tall, dark trees loomed over the front and sides of the school grounds as if Mother Nature herself wanted to trap these teens in this hellhole. Jay flipped the fringe out of his eyes as his focus shifted towards the school itself. The large building was surrounded by a steeply curved wall fence that looks like spikes on top were actually sharpened and not for decoration. Jay couldn't tell whether it was to keep outsiders from seeing what goes on in the school or to keep the students locked in. His gaze again shifted to land on the gray block that would be his new home for the next few years. Despite going to boarding school, Jay brought nothing with him. It's time for his fresh start. No one knew him here, and he'd like to keep it that way. Speaking of people not knowing him, Jay suddenly felt a hard push on his left shoulder, causing him to stumble forward across the uneven pavement. A deep, raspy laugh echoed behind him. Jay tilted his head up to see a mammoth of a person who so graciously interrupted his beautiful morning. Jay groaned internally as he straightened up, trying to hide his trepidation behind his blank face that he has mastered so well throughout the years. Jay looked into his aggressor's eyes and said with as much ice in his tone, "Watch where you're going." Without missing a beat, the guy retorted, "Could say the same thing about you, the new kid walking in here talking to me like you're all that. Hate to break it to you, but that gets you in trouble around here. I'll give you a fair warning here. Your emo ass better listen closely," he said, eyeing my outfit disdainfully. "We don't tolerate people who talk back here. I will personally tell the teachers to make your life hell. You don't want to end up like Brandon now, do you?" Jay hated people who felt the need to threaten others, but he just nodded quickly, trying to get past this supposed hotshot of the school. Emo ass, though. Emo ass? Who does this guy think he is? Jay thought to himself. It just so happens I only look good in a black bomber jacket with black skinny jeans and a black choker and some black nail polish and some black eyeliner. Besides, the friends help me hide from assholes like you. Jay rolled his eyes internally as his hate for this dude increased a hell lot more. Hey, focus! His gruff voice cut into Jay's thoughts, snapping him back to reality. I asked if you heard what I said. I really don't want to hurt you, but your face could use a punch or two if you keep looking at me with that stupid, dreamy look in your eyes. Yep, I heard you loud and clear the first time, Jay retorted back calmly. I just didn't care to answer you. Jay finished smugly as he pushed his way past the brute and towards the sidewalks that led into the building. But as he turned towards the sidewalks, he caught a glimpse of his new enemy's face, and it was one that sent an uneasy shiver down his spine. The brute had a familiar expression on his face, an expression that Jay knew too well from his nightmares every night. An expression that sent him into long sessions of screaming, an expression that screamed malicious intent, an expression that warned him to not attend the school in last night's dreams. As Jay recovered from his initial scare, he brushed off the uneasy feeling that had settled in the pit of his stomach and blamed all his paranoia on his recurring nightmares he's been having. As he slowly made his way into the building, he picked up snippets of other people's conversations. Chetno really did it last summer, didn't he? I mean, the purple wall is up. They must have. The renovations are done on the back of the building. The teachers truly have no chill. That kid Brandon, I think was his name, ain't here, so that must mean Chetno took care of him. I mean, come on, Charlotte. We already know that Brandon has been missing since the beginning of summer. The voices swirled around in Jay's head as he tried to piece together why everyone in school was talking about this Chetno and Brandon person. What unsettled him even more was that he can't help feeling that this has something to do with the recurring nightmares he's been having. The names, the scene, the dates, the fact that someone is missing, it all seemed so familiar, yet Jay was trying to tell himself it was nothing that can happen outside of a dream. As Jay rounded the corner towards the back of the school to head to his first period class, he was frozen in place by what he saw. The entire back wall was made out of pure glass, and outside of the school was a large meadow. But it wasn't the glass wall, the meadow, or the fact this was the only part of the school that has had windows so far that caught Jay's attention. No. His focus was dead set on the edge of the meadow. There were no tall, dark trees, no steeply curved wall fence with spikes on top. No, this was much worse. It was a purple brick wall. Not just any purple brick wall, the purple wall in his dreams that has haunted him for the past 2 months. Flashback. The dreams, or nightmares rather, all started the second day of summer vacation. They always started the same way, Jay being harassed or simply misunderstood by people at his old schools. Words and phrases would float in and out. You're such a loser. Look at those chankles. Oh my god, he wears nail polish and a choker? Oh, why is he so skinny? Why does he ever talk normally? What's up with this attitude? But that wasn't a real problem since the phrases just slipped by to his accustomed ears. It was the phrase, "You don't want to be the next purple wall, do you?" that scared Jay the most. He didn't know what it meant. All his nightmares would end with a vision of a purple wall in the meadows with the word happiness written across it in cute bubble letters. But the voice that came from within proved that the wall wasn't as innocent as it looked. The voice was one that embodied the word angelic. It was smooth like silk sheets blowing the wind or like luscious chocolate being poured onto a cake. Definitely not a voice deserving to be stuck in a wall. The first few nights, the voice started off in small whimpers and cries, almost blending in with the chirps of nature. Every night, the voice grew in volume and conviction, almost as if it was getting fed up with being stuck in the wall and was trying to break free. Past few nights, the incoherent whispers have turned into full words and phrases. Jay was able to pick up bits like, Chetno is going to pay, silence will be no more, and the wall shall fall. He still didn't know what all of this meant and who's behind this wall. All he knew was that the person behind the wall had been severely mistreated, and he didn't want to end up like that. Last night had been the scariest one yet, with a voice rising into a shout. 2 days, and you'll be sorry. 2 days. It repeated over and over again. The vision ended as the Jay in the dream rammed his body against the wall. He woke up in his bed, sweating. Jay's flashbacks to last night were interrupted when he heard the same gruff voice from earlier bellow beside his right ear. What a lovely view, ain't it? I put up the wall myself with the help of a few teachers. Why don't I walk you to class? You seem to be a bit too distracted here. Wouldn't want to see you be late on your first day, would ya? I don't usually give people like you second chances, but you look so pathetic standing here for the last 5 minutes shaking that I feel like I'm obligated to help you out, he said with another look of disgust. The name's Chetno, and you better put some respect on it when you say it. Got it? Jay's back stiffened and his eyes widened as he heard the name, but he quickly wiped any expression off his face and shrugged his shoulders indifferently. Sure, I guess, he mumbled. The two walked down the back hallway towards first period and received more than a few funny looks. Jay couldn't help but feel that all the school's eyes were trained on him and Chetno. We're here. Hello, Mr. Mallory, Chetno greeted cheerfully from beside Jay. I brought you the new student here. Go take a seat somewhere. Mr. Mallory's harsh voice did not carry a trace of welcome. He did not look up from his computer. Jay took a seat in the back like he usually does at all his other schools and watched Chetno take a seat in the middle of the classroom as everyone else already in the classroom gathered around Chetno. Well, aren't you going to tell us what the hell is up with the purple wall and Brandon's disappearance? A girl with too much makeup and a resting bitch face directed at Chetno. Chetno's grin was wide and his eyes carried an evil glint. Of course, Alexa. You know I can't hold in a good story of an asshole getting what he deserves. He took a quick pause to contain his excitement. So, school finally let out in June last year, right? I spent the entire first day of summer vacation plotting how I was going to take Brandon without getting caught. Turns out that was easier than I thought because no one gives a damn about that kid. At this, there were many nods and mutters of agreement. So on the second day of summer break, we were supposed to pour the cement for the new wall in the meadows, which y'all probably seen on the way here. The wall was supposed to make the school look like a more attractive, happy place for parents to dump their problematic kids or something like that. I don't know what the teachers were talking about. I just threw that Brandon bitch into the wall when the teachers weren't looking and helped them close off it. The kid was screaming like crazy, and honestly, I'm like so glad that was my last time ever hearing from Brandon again. Even his screams sound weird. How ironic that the most happy-go-lucky person who wouldn't shut up is now trapped in a wall that says happiness. Everyone looked up at Chetno like he was some god when he finished narrating the disappearance of Brandon. Jay sat at the back wearing a horrified expression on his face. The hell? That kid over there is a murderer? No wonder they call this a school for troubled students, Jay thought incredulously. Oh wait, I forgot. I took a video while I threw his body, Jay heard Chetno say kind of proudly. Everyone crowded around his phone, and Jay was petrified when he heard the screams coming through the phone. The screams. They sounded exactly the same as the angelic voice from his night visions. Jay was mentally panicking in the back of the room as everyone was laughing at Brandon's unfortunate demise. If this Brandon person was thrown into the wall and cemented in there for 2 months, there's no way he could be alive. So why do I hear his voice in my nightmares every night? And why does Brandon being so abused by his students and teachers here? Did Chetno really threaten to do the same thing to me as he did to Brandon this morning? Jay had so many questions, but he knew that he could not get anywhere close to the sick, twisted students in the middle of the room. It was at this time that the voice from Jay's dream, the voice which probably belonged to Brandon, decided to echo inside Jay's mind. I'm so gonna get that little fucker Chetno back. Jay was so taken aback by the sudden voice in his head that he fell off his chair and crashed into the cabinet in the back. Everyone shifted their gaze onto Jay, struggling to get back up due to his skinny jeans being too tight. What's the matter with that dude? The girl from earlier asked, no one in particular. I tripped on the air and fell. That's what happened, Jay retorted back, giving everyone an annoyed glare. Jay finally got up and sat back down like nothing happened. The group of students slowly went back to admiring Chetno or whatever the hell they were doing before, and Jay mentally scolded himself for bringing attention to himself. Eek, sorry about that, the voice in his head piped up. Chetno just really pisses me off, he said in a calm tone that didn't really sound pissed off. Jay groaned internally, so this voice in his head ain't gonna go away. Well, great, maybe I'll just ask the dude in my head for some answers since he won't go away, Jay thought. Yeah, sure, I'll start with the questions you thought about earlier, said the voice in his head. Am I the voice of Brandon? Yes, I believe I am. Is Brandon dead? Nah, fam, they thought. They're a real bunch of idiots. They left the inside of the wall hollow. Real smart. I was able to dig a small hole and, breathe and stuff, you know? As for why they hate me so much, honestly, it's probably since I'm different than they are. Just like you. I look different. Just like you. I acted different. Just like you. But did I let that bother me? Nope. Just like you. And did they get pissed about that? Yep. Just like your past tormentors. That's why I can so easily hop into your mind. You're the only one I can really connect to and channel my frustration into keeping myself sane. So sorry, but you're kind of stuck with me. At this, Brandon's voice took a break to hear what Jay has to say. Jay was trying hard to wrap his mind around all of this. Well, great. I know I wasn't going crazy talking to someone that's not real in my mind, Jay finally responded, and mentally laughed at how stupid all of this is. This was probably the first time someone really understood what he was going through, and he couldn't believe that someone out there was going through what he's going through. The two of them spent the entire first period chatting back and forth through Jay's mind, and the period flew by. As Jay was heading to second period class, he glanced out the large glass wall towards the purple happiness wall and noticed the small baseball-sized hole that Brandon had pointed out to him in their convos. It was by the right bottom hand corner. Each period, Jay and Brandon would continue to talk and connect. Jay couldn't remember the last time he was this at ease with a person, and he was loving every second of it. Every time the bell rang for the next period, Jay would hurry to the glass wall to peer out at the purple wall. He would notice every time that the hole seemed to get a little bit bigger. Jay just brushed it off as wishful thinking that his newfound friend would come out and meet him. Lunchtime came around and the entire school emptied out into the meadow behind the school to have lunch in front of the purple wall. Jay found himself migrating towards the edge of the meadow to get away from everyone else and also to get as close to the wall as possible. On his way across the tall grass towards his desired location, Jay heard a loud crunch beneath his feet and froze. He looked down and noticed a cracked phone screen, and the owner of the phone was none other than Chetno, god of purple-sized Sunshine Academy himself. His ears were tinged a bright tomato red. He looked almost comical standing there, too angry to form words. Jay was about to back away and just leave Chetno to seethe in his own anger when Chetno's hand roughly grabbed a hold of the back of his bomber jacket. "Hey, watch it! That's my favorite bomber jacket!" Jay exclaimed incredulously. "Well, that's my favorite phone that you just stepped on and broke," Chetno countered, his voice rising in volume. "You, tomorrow, lunch. I'm gonna finish you just like I finished Brandon. I think a nice red bloodstain will look nice on the purple wall background." Chetno made up his mind and stormed away to another area of the meadow. Everyone started chattering quietly as they just witnessed the new kid provoke their god. "Wow, isn't this just fantastic? Again, thanks, Mom and Dad, for sending me to a school for crazy people," Jay thought as he continued on his way across the meadow to the purple wall. He tried striking up a conversation with Brandon in his head, but the voice was silent. Jay frowned, more disappointed than he thought he would be. Brandon decided to remain quiet in Jay's head all throughout the afternoon classes and the evening. As a result, the rest of the day passed by painfully slow, with Jay getting dirty looks from everyone in the school. Turns out, if you step on Chetno's phone, you instantly can become the most hated person in the school. Later that day, Jay went to find his dorm room here at the school. After getting everything ready for bed, Jay got a feeling of nausea in his gut like he usually does every night he's had these nightmares. But no matter how hard he tries, his eyelids would always droop lower and lower, and he couldn't keep himself from falling into a fitful slumber. Like clockwork, the nightmares came rushing into his head the second Jay fell asleep. Such a fucking klutz, always looking for trouble, provoking Chetno as if he could take him on. The voices of the people in his life screamed around him. Their voices seemed much harsher tonight, and Jay couldn't help but wince a bit in his sleep. But the angelic voice of Brandon quickly interrupted into his nightmare, booming out, "Tomorrow, they will pay. They will pay. I will no longer hide behind a wall of happiness." Then everything fell silent as Jay watched the purple wall collapse and smother the meadow with chunks of brick and ash in his dream. Jay woke up suddenly and was shaking in sweat. He quickly got ready and headed to first period to distract his mind from the nightmare. He tried calling out to Brandon in his mind, but was met with no reply. While rushing to second period, Brandon passed the glass wall and noticed that the hole in the purple wall was much bigger. Strange, he thought to himself. He repeated the process through second and third period, each time his worry increasing. He would try to talk to Brandon, no luck, and then find the hole even bigger. "Come on, Brandon, help me out here. I'm about to be a red splat on the purple wall in the next few minutes," Jay begged in his mind as he slowly headed out of third period towards the meadow for lunch. As soon as Jay got outside, everyone fell silent and looked between Chetno, who was standing in the middle of the field, and Jay, who was standing at the edge of the meadow. "Well, what you waited for?" Chetno's voice boomed over the meadow. "Come over here now." Without any choice, Jay slowly made his way towards the spot Chetno was grinning maliciously. Each step felt like his shoes were filled with lead, and Jay sorely wished the meadow would just eat him up before he reached Chetno. Hundreds of eyes drilled into his back like tiny little darts, each one weakening him, letting Chetno do the final blow. Chetno chuckled darkly and grabbed Jay's shirt as Jay finally reached the middle of the field. "Didn't know you were slow mentally and physically," Chetno noted with a grin, and a chorus of giggles followed. Jay gritted his teeth and put on a blank expression like he usually does. Seeing that he got no rise out of Jay, Chetno wiped the grin off his face and grabbed Jay with one arm as he started walking towards the wall. "Where would you like your body print to be? Should be happy that I'm letting you choose where," Chetno said jokingly, putting back on the show for the school like the cocky asshole he is. Responding in the most serious manner possible, Jay said, "Right side." He was praying that by guiding Chetno to the hole in the wall, Brandon will do his revenge thing that he keeps talking about. Without missing a beat, Chetno grabbed Jay's legs and prepared to swing Jay's small body into the right edge of the wall like a human baseball bat. As Chetno talked to the crowd, hyping them up for what he promised to be a beautiful masterpiece, Jay's eyes were focused on the hole in the purple wall in the bottom right corner. As Chetno continued to talk to the crowd, Jay started to notice that the hole in the corner was rapidly growing bigger. Everyone was so intensely focused on Chetno's twisted, gory description of Jay's death that they didn't notice the hole in the wall growing bigger. That is, until the face popped out. Alexa, the girl who hangs on to Chetno's every word, suddenly shrieked, "Oh my gosh, it's him!" While wildly pointing at the hole in the wall, Chetno all of a sudden fell silent. Everyone in the meadow fell silent. It seems like the whole world felt silent. Everyone was holding their breath and staring at him. He shouldn't be alive. What was everyone except for Jay thinking? Brandon's face gave a wide grin, yet he didn't say anything towards the hundreds of wondering eyes. He peeked out from the hole and just smiled. Instead, he whispered in Jay's mind, "Come, now is the time. You don't belong with them. Come with me." And as if being pulled by an invisible string, Jay walked forwards towards the wall like he did in all of his nightmares, and stopped before it. Seeming as if he has rehearsed this in the past thousands of times, Jay coerced the wall into motion. He poured all of his emotions that he kept bottled up throughout the years through his hand and into the cool brick. The brick seemed to have gained more momentum the more pain and hardships Jay put in. He glanced off to the side and noticed that Brandon was doing the same as well. His gaze directed to Chetno, who stood petrified in fear as all the bricks from the wall were swirling above his head in a roll storm. Brandon looked Chetno in the eye, gave a small shrug, and said, "Karma's a bitch." And with that, all the bricks settled on Chetno, and the happiness wall was no more. Okay, that's the story for you guys, and your Storytime Snake, if you guys missed him. I know that was kind of a twisty turny story, but I hope you like it, and feel free to give me any feedback down below. If you made it to this point of the video, I'd like to say a big thank you. I recognize that there's a lot of room for improvement in my short stories, and you guys can leave feedback for improvement down below in the comments. I definitely encourage you guys to try writing your own stories based on the image Moen sent in, and you guys can send those stories in to me at any of my socials. I'm also still looking for images for next episode's Short Story Sundays, so make sure to send those pictures in too. And that's a wrap for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and subscribe for more quality content. Bye! I'm a snake. I'm a snake.